We are currently 1 week away from Valentine's Day, so consider this your reminder that if you are someone who gives a gift on Valentine's Day, you are on the clock because it is definitely winding down for you to be able to order something, have it ship, and get here in time. So some of the things that I'm going to talk about today are things that you could just order online, get them shipped right to you. Some of them you might be able to go and pick up at your local store. I will drop some links in the description below of the different things that you could purchase. If Amazon is your jam, but some of these things you can't get on Amazon, so I'll put some direct links as well, just to make your life a little bit easier. Today, we are going to talk about Valentine gifts for her Runner's Edition. So this could also be things that are good for an active female in your life. Not everything is specific to runners, but that is what I had in mind. So when I sat down to think about what I would suggest, I really thought about what are the things that I would want to get as a runner and as an active female, or the things that I really love. So also, this could just be, a treat yourself kind of video. If you are somebody who is looking for some new gear and you are a female runner or identify as female, these are the things that you might want to consider. Some of these things are also good just for runners in general. It does not have to be female. But it's my perspective as a female runner. Let's get into it. If we're going to start from kind of like head down, one of the things that we're going to start off with is sunglasses. So as a runner and as a female who has a little bit of a smaller noggin, not a smaller brain, but a smaller head circumference, I find wearing and I wear glasses, I find that some sunglasses just don't fit me well. And I have some really nice expensive pairs of Oakleys, and honestly, I don't reach for them as much as I reach for my Gooders. So what I love about Gooders is, number one, the price point. They run anywhere between $30 to $50, just depending on the style that you go for, etc. They come in a lot of really fun colors. The brand is really fun. They have fun names for all of their glasses, which can be a little bit annoying when you're trying to figure out which color you want, but at the same time, it's really fun because it makes me smile when I look at the names. And they come in a bunch of different shapes. So even their kind of standard classic one, even these come in different sizes. So they come in ones that are like, I want to say they're BFGs, like big effing Gooders. And then I want to say that they now come out with LFGs, little effing Gooders, for people who have even smaller heads. Now, these don't move around when I run at all, because that's one thing I can't stand about wearing any sort of glasses or anything like that when I work out or when I run, is if they move at all, can't stand it. I actually think that maybe I have a little bit of, some sort of sensory thing, because certain fabrics I just can't stand. If something is like, there's a tag, it has to go. I cannot, I become obsessive about it. And so same thing with glasses and such. I have to have things that just fit just right. Otherwise, I don't want them. And so that's why I like Gooders. The other thing is that I have had to replace my Oakleys twice. So once I've had to fully replace the frame and the lens because I lost them somewhere along BC Bike Race at some point. And then a second time I've had to replace the lenses because they got scratched up. My fault, was not their fault. I just didn't think about protecting them properly when I was on. Anyways, different story. The point is that if these get scratched up or anything like that, I'm not super sad, unless of course they're like a special edition that I can't get again, because they've lasted me for several years now, and I've only had one pair that I've had to potentially replace, which is my one gripe with Gooder. If I have one gripe, I find that their chrome style finishes on the lenses, I don't know, something about when they get wet and you try and wipe them, it takes off the coating. My sister has a pair where the coating has come off, and then I also have a pair that the coating has come off. Gooders for sunglasses are definitely my go-to when I do a lot of things. So even cycling. I do have a pair of Smiths that I really like when I go cycling, like road or mountain bike, because they fit well with my helmet. But anything else, I'm definitely a gooder fan. Kind of the same general vicinity, but headphones. So the go-to for me is actually AirPods and the older generation of AirPods. So similar to my small circumference size, apparently I have small ear holes. And even the newer AirPod Pros that have that new noise canceling feature and things like that, where it's like you can hear environmentally, they don't fit in my ears properly. I had a pair and I ended up having to return them. And so I've just kind of stuck with the original AirPods. I don't have a problem with them falling out of my ears. I know some people do. You can buy little attachments from Amazon that connects them and then it wraps around your ear. But honestly, I have ran lots of different races and things like that with these in, and it's fine. I have no problem with them falling out. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more secure, my second option would be the Powerbeats Pro. So what I love about these guys is that they do have the noise canceling, but then they also wrap around your ears, so they feel nice and secure. Now, drawback though is, as a female, I don't really like to run with these in because I feel like I don't have a good sense of my surroundings. And so these usually stay near my Peloton for when I do my bike classes. But really solid. These I've had to charge hardly at all. I don't use them a lot, but they stay charged even though they've been sitting on the shelf because I don't use my Peloton bike all that much. I'm definitely on my tread running outside or doing like other things more often than I use my AirPods for, but these have stayed charged for like literally months and months and months, and I've hardly had to charge them. So that would be my second vote. Another option, if you are worried about safety and things like that, that you might want to consider are these air shocks. So the air shocks are actually bone conduction. So they actually sit just on the outsides of your ear. And that's the technology, is they conduct sound through bone conduction technology. Don't ask me any more than that because that's about all I know. But they do actually work really well. I don't use mine a lot. Don't ask me why, I just really haven't. But one of the things I have heard people complain about with the aftershocks is just that they don't stay charged even though they're brand new. So I think that maybe that's just something faulty with a few ones here and there, versus I haven't really found that with mine, but I haven't put them to the true test. Whereas my AirPods, I have used during marathons and things like that. I've used in events that last over 6 hours, and they're just fine. So long charge time, this is probably my go-to. But if you're worried about safety and things like that, you might want to consider air shocks because it definitely allows you to hear more of what's happening around in your environment. So carrying on with wearables and things that you have on them in the technology realm, let's talk about watches. So my go-to watch that I wear all the time is the Fenix 6S Pro, and it is an investment piece. It is not cheap. I have had it for many years, and I've had it for a lot of different races now. Previous to that, I had the Garmin 245 or the 255. I can't remember which one. But I just was looking for something with a few more features where I could use it with a lot of different sports and things like that, which is why I ended up investing in the 6S Pro. My husband has since gone from the 945, I believe it's called, don't quote me on that, to the Fenix 7 because he likes some of the new features of the 7 and invested in that one. If you don't want a lot of different features, there are some really good basics that are on the Garmin website. I must say though, Garmin, you need to do a better job of helping people find the type of watch that they're looking for, because there are so many options on the Garmin website, it's almost overwhelming. A good basic watch is like the 245, the 255. If you wanted to invest in something and you're a multi-sport athlete like me that likes to do mountain biking, cycling, swimming, a bunch of different things, then a Fenix or something similar might be a good option for you. If you do not have the budget for a Garmin, but you're looking maybe to change things up for your Garmin, I really like the Amazon watch bands. So my watch came with a black band, and at the time I was having a hard time finding replacement bands for the Garmin Fenix 6. Since then, they've become a lot more readily available. However, one of the things for me is that watch bands, no matter if it's Apple, Garmin, or whatever, I have to be really mindful about how tight I wear it, how often I clean it, etc., because my skin is so sensitive that I get eczema or what looks like burn marks from it. And so I have to replace my bands semi-regularly. And so Amazon has some great options as far as like fun colors, they fit really well, and they have not bugged my skin. Next up, let's talk about clothes. So clothes are super personal, I'll say that, but one of the things that I find as a mid-ish size runner, so I have been a runner in lots of different sizes. So I have been a runner when I was a size 4 to 6, and I've been a runner now in the size about 14 or so. And so what was comfortable for me at a 4 to 6 has changed from then to now. And so what I'm offering is the perspective as somebody who is a mid-sized runner, some of the things that are my go-to, my ride or dies that I wear all the time. So my ride or die bra is the Energy Bra. If you are somebody who is a little bit more chesty than a C, this bra is probably not the best option for you. But if you're anywhere from an A to a C cup, it's probably an okay bra for you. And I have these bras in a lot of different sizes, and this is my go-to bra no matter what I'm doing. So if I'm doing CrossFit, if I'm mountain biking, if I'm running, this is the bra that I wear. For running, it's probably just supportive enough, but I'm not willing to shell out the money for bras that are, $130 plus for something that's even more so. This one works well for me. So I was upgraded to a different size in the last couple of years, and so I've had to replace some of my smaller ones with a little bit larger size, but they still work really well for me. The other thing I'll tell you is I am fine to invest the money in a good bra. Like, don't get me wrong, if you need to do it, spend the $130, but I can get away with that, which is why I do it. My ride or die bottoms are the Fast and Frees from Lululemon. So the Fast and Frees come in a bunch of different lengths, but my favorites have been the Fast and Free 9-inch. However, Lululemon, I don't know why you stopped making them. I don't know why. Here's the thing, is I can get away with a 7 or 8-inch maybe, but anything shorter than that, it's gonna become a booty short by the time it's just gonna ride on up. And so there is no point in wearing something fitted along my leg if it's not gonna provide the protection that I need to prevent chafing, essentially, is what I'm looking for. Whereas the 9-inch would hit just above the knee and it would stay in place as long as I'm wearing the right size. If I was wearing a little bit too big, they don't stay in place. The other thing I like about them was that they're super high-waisted, so they're nice and compressive, they hold everything in. And then the third feature that is the best about them is that they have these pockets on both sides that are nice and big. You can easily slide your phone in there for safety, as well as if you're like me during a race and you take a picture every mile where you need to easily access your phone. Then the other thing that I keep in them sometimes is snacks and or things like my GoPro or batteries. Because again, I carry a ridiculous amount of things when I go running with me for some reason. The other thing that I like about them is that there is no seam on the 9-inch. So it creates no area for things to bulge over or under. It just is nice and flat. So Lululemon, you disappoint me when it comes to getting rid of things that I like. I literally have these black pair. I probably have 4 pairs of black. I have a pair of camo. I have a pair of blue. And I also have some We Made Too Much ones that are really terrible prints and colors that don't leave my home, but they're good enough for the treadmill. So I'm looking for a replacement for these, but anytime I try any of those, you see somebody post about Amazon dupes that are like Lululemon dupes and things like that, they have not been the same for me, because I find with being this size that the type of fabric, the type of construction, so like how the seams are sewn and everything like that makes a big difference in how it feels and how it fits and how it performs. And so far, I have yet to find something that really will stand up to things moving and shaking and stuff for a long period of time. So I am looking for a new option, and I'm hoping that Lulu will bring these back, the 9-inch in particular, not the 4-inch, the 9-inch that have no seam at the bottom. Because they did make an 8-inch, but it has a seam, and I don't like that. I don't like the seam at the bottom of the leg. They do come in a variety of lengths, so if shorts are not your thing, you can get them in capris, you can get them in like a 7/8 length, and they come in like a full length, which I think is like a 31-inch, but that's not a full length on me because I have a 34-inch inseam. These are also the thing that I will wear for CrossFit, I wear them for running, I wear them for weights, etc. So again, fast and freeze are my ride or die. I did try out their base short. So their base short is a 8-inch inseam, I believe. I'll correct myself on the screen if that's not correct. But they do not have the side pocket. And they do have a pocket in the back, but it's not as convenient. You need the side pocket. You just need to be able to easily access your phone, not only from a safety perspective, but just, like if you want to get the picture and you're fumbling with your phone and it's back in where you're sweaty and you have to like wipe off the camera, it just doesn't work as well. These are okay. I don't mind them. They're okay if I'm like at home on the treadmill or something like that, but they're not my favorite. Now, I have been looking for a different option other than Lululemon to wear because I like the Lululemon brand, but I just don't find it very size inclusive. They're trying to be, I feel like, but they're not executing well. So for example, I feel like they don't have stock a lot of the time, and or I cannot go in and buy anything larger than usually a size 12 maybe in store. We made too much. You always have 0s and 2s. I don't know who's doing your buying for you, but if you're always sold out of like 14s and 16s and the we made too much always has 0s and 2s, maybe you need to change how many you're buying and which sizes. I don't know. I don't own a store, but that's just, I'm thinking you could sell more. So one of the things I've been looking to try is Athleta, which is the brand from Banana Republic, Gap, Old Navy, that, a group of companies. And so it's their performance brand, I'll say. And they finally opened a store in West Ed because same thing, like I said before, I'm very particular about how the fabric feels, the construction of it, what they feel like as far as the fit goes and things like that. And let me tell you, spoiler alert, I was pleasantly surprised, and you might see an Athleta review of some stuff that I have coming in soon. So what I found is what I hope might be my new Lululemon Fast and Freeze. So these are called the Ultimate Stash Short. Now, in store, they only had the 7-inch inseam. So I tried them on and they're actually not bad. They don't feel too short. They do have a seam at the bottom, but it does have good stretch. So that's okay. Because that's the worst thing, is that if they put a seam somewhere and there's no stretch to it, then it just makes things bulge out. They have nice big side pocket. They don't have as many pockets along the back and side, which is totally fine with me because I don't really use those ones anyways. They do have this back pocket, but again, I don't really ever put anything back there. I just need the side pocket is what I prefer. And online, they have a 9-inch short, which I meant to order in my last order, but I forgot. So I am going to order those and probably do them as part of a review. So the other thing I like about Athleta is when you go online, they are actually pretty size inclusive. Some of the stuff doesn't have full sizing, but most of the things I saw online had sizing up to about 22. They actually had stock in the sizing, because that's the other thing about Lululemon is that a lot of the things that are, mid to plus size are sold out a lot of the time. I can't give these my 100% stamp of approval, but I like them so far. And as far as a brand goes, I enjoy them, I think. Let's talk about some shoes. My suggestion, if you are buying them for yourself or someone else, no matter what, always get fitted at your local running store because they can tell you the type of shoe you need, as well as give you recommendations based on the type of running you do. So if you're somebody who's more of like a 5 to 10K type of person, or if you have some speed goals or the amount of volume that you do, or an ultra marathoner, they can give you some suggestions on the shoes that they think will work best for you. You can try them on and then see what feels best for your feet. I'm going to tell you the shoes that I've been loving the most, but 3 brands I recommend are Hoka, Asics is tried and true, Saucony I've ran in and out of in my lifetime as a runner. I have since picked up a new pair of shoes, which I'm going to talk about today, and then Brooks is also very popular. I wish I liked Brooks. Well, I wish my feet liked Brooks because they have a lot of really fun colors and patterns, and they have lots of fun special edition type shoes. But unfortunately, my feet just prefer other ones. So I was running in Ultras, which I still like, but they redesigned the shoe that I ran in. And so then I had to find an alternative, which was Hoka. Since then, they have redesigned the redesign. So I'm going to try Ultras again. And what I like about Ultras is that they're 0 drop. So there is no drop from the heel to the toe. And so that's the thing I find with a lot of some of the Asics and things like that is the drop is pretty severe. And I don't like how it like pitches me forward. I prefer something that is 0 drop, that's a little bit more natural gait. The other thing I liked about Ultras is that they have a wider toe box. Now, not so wide that, because I have narrow feet that I felt like I was like moving around, but just enough so that your foot can naturally spread out and isn't feeling too compressed. So if you're somebody that suffers from some like foot issues because you have worn tight shoes all your life, Ultras are great. Now, the thing about 0 drop though is it does take your body a while to get used to it. So don't go 0 to 60, kind of like ease your way into less and less drop as a suggestion. So as far as Hokas go, I have been running in the Machs. And so I ran in the Mach 4s for quite a bit. They have since come out with the Mach 5s. I don't mind them. They're okay. I think I like the Mach 4s a little bit better. If you were to ask me why, I would just say I feel like I would grab them more often than my 5s, but my 5s are okay. I think I just have not ran in them enough, to be honest. So the Machs is what I prefer. I know the Cliftons are very popular. I just felt like they didn't fit my feet properly. So again, you have to make sure that you're buying something that you know works for you. What I have tried lately, so my sister has some knee issues, and so she has been looking for new shoes. And so one of the things that we have both bought lately are the Endorphin Pro 3s. And I've never ran in a true like racing style shoe before. I did try the Alpha, the Nike, the like 2-piece ones, like the $300 and some ones. Not a fan, would not purchase them. So I was a little bit afraid of trying out like a racing shoe that has like some spring and some propulsion and a carbon plate. Like, look at how pretty those are. They come in like a lot of fun colorways. Overall, I like them, but again, these are a more of a investment shoe. These retail for like $300 or so. So another pair that my sister has decided she wants to try, and which means I have to try them as well because we're Irish twins that aren't Irish twins, the Nova Blast 3. So the Nova Blast 3 is Asics, kind of similar version to this, where it's more of like the training racing shoe. The thing that I noticed is overall my foot feels really comfortable in it, but I feel like it's a little bit more squishy than springy. So I haven't tried these out yet. I cannot give you a review on them yet, but that will come. I will do a review on the Endorphin 3s as like an everyday runner, and then I'll give you a review on the Nova Blast as well as like an everyday runner. Asics though, you can't go wrong with the Asics brand. It's more just finding the type of the shoe that works best for you, as far as if you need something with stability or if you're a neutral runner, as well as the amount of cushioning that you're looking for. So last thing as far as wearables go is going to be hydration, and my favorite hydration pack. I have I have multiple hydration packs, but my favorite hydration pack is the Active Skin 8 by Solomon. And so what I look for in a pack, and this might be different for you, but what I look for is, does it have a little bit of storage where I could throw a jacket or a long sleeve so I don't have to have it tied around my waist or whatnot. I also like that it doesn't have the clasp type of ones, that it's this stretchy material, so I can tighten it up or loosen it off a lot easier. And I feel like it just fits having a bust better than the two clasps. I always felt like it was like underneath my boobs, and I don't know, it just looked funny. Now these ones do come with the flasks that you can put in. I just don't really like them, so I don't use them, and I just mostly use it for storage. I just like the fact that I can easily put some snacks in here. I put my, GoPro batteries, whatever. There's ones that are zipped, there's ones that are a little bit more easy access. I've never had any issue with anything coming out. So even though I only have one kind of smaller zip, I've never had issues with anything coming out of these kind of easy access ones while I'm running. So just something to keep in mind. The downfall to this is that it does not come with the larger bladder. So if you're looking for a larger bladder that has, the hose and stuff, that's something you're going to have to buy separately. What's nice about it is that you can get the size that works for you. So if you're somebody that needs a little bit larger bladder, you can interchange them easily. The other thing that I've bought separately are these little magnet hooks. And so this is something, again, this is a little bit of investment. You're looking at probably $100 to $150 or more for a hydration pack. But this, if they have a hydration pack and it's not an easy access hose or something that they can easily take on or off, I highly recommend a magnet, because it definitely makes things a lot easier as far as getting your hose and just like reattaching it and such. Next up, we'll talk about things that go in your body, which is nutrition. So there's lots of different options as far as nutrition goes. I tend to prefer things that are a little bit more whole food. I don't do well with goos and those sorts of things. I have heard good things about Spring brand, but we can't get those in Canada, so I might pick some up when I'm in the States in a couple of weeks and try those out, because I have heard people say that they have stomach issues and can't handle goos, but they can tolerate those really well and they taste good. So we'll see. I heard they're a little bit more like an applesauce, but has the amount of nutrition in them, carbohydrates, that you would need for a race. In my last race, so when I was doing dopey, Uncrustables were my go-to be honest with you. I remember last year on the marathon being like, I just want some real food. And so in the past, when I've done ultras and stuff, peanut butter and jam sandwiches have been my go-to. And so when I was in doing dopey this year, I purchased Uncrustables and I threw a couple of those in my bag and they made me happy. But one of the things that I thought I would tell you guys about are Hornby bars. So Hornby bars are a Canadian company. What I like about them, they're dairy-free, they're soy-free, etc. But they're also certified gluten-free. They just taste really good. They have some yummy flavors and such, and I like supporting a Canadian company. I find the texture to be really good. So we tried these when we did Momar last year. So Mind Over Mountain Adventure Race is when I first tried them, and I really like them. The other thing too is they have this smaller size that you can purchase on their website, which I like because I don't always need the big one, whereas Glenn will easily just like mow down a big one. Sometimes I only eat half and I feel like I'm wasting it sometimes. So I really like Hornby bars. So if you haven't checked them out, I highly recommend them. I like their texture a little bit better than Cliff bars. The macros are a little bit more heavier though, because they have a little bit more fats in them. So just be aware of that. The next thing that I suggest for yourself or the runner in your life, no matter if they're female or male, most often than not, they need to work on their mobility. So things like a roller or something like that, that's, I think an easy suggestion. But the thing that I actually really like and I use quite often are these yoga tune-up balls, and yoga tune-up balls in particular. So the reason why I like them is because they actually have firmness but give. So I find lacrosse balls and golf balls and softballs, those sorts of things, to be a little bit too hard. I have purchased a lot of different mobility balls and things like that, and that's the thing is like, if I try and roll out my feet or something like that, I just find that I want something that has like a little bit of give and a little bit of tack. And so these I find to be really great for like feet, around your ankles. If you feel like your calcaneus is like jammed up, it kind of like sticks to your skin a little bit, and you can give it a little bit, you know, to get things moving again. So for the bottom of the feet and such, I love these. It comes as a 2-pack, and they come in this little case here, so you can use it like a peanut around, you know, so for on the either edge of your spine and such. They come in different sizes, but this would be something that is my go-to. I think probably something like this retails for around like $30 or so. I'll drop a link to Amazon in the comments below. The last suggestion I have for you is going to be subscription-based. So one subscription I think that a lot of runners have is a Strava subscription, and I use mine a lot. The biggest thing I use my Strava for is creating routes and to be able to create accurate distance routes, or if I know where I want to start from and I have about a distance in mind, it will create routes for me. Now, they recently did an update where that doesn't function quite as well, and I'm not sure if they have fixed it since then, but that's the biggest thing I use Strava for. I know a lot of people will also use it as like a data or looking at metrics and stuff like that, and sometimes I do, and sometimes I use it as a little bit like a running social media platform, but honestly the biggest thing that I use it for is creating routes. The other thing that I've recently started using more is Training Peaks. So Training Peaks is similar to Strava in the sense that it will collect metrics and data, but really it's really about training programs and data around that training program. So I recently hired a coach to give me a program based on my goals. And so she just gives me my workouts in Training Peaks. They sync with my Garmin. When I go to do that workout, I just start my Garmin. It tells me, do you want to do this workout? And then it just kind of tells me exactly what I'm supposed to do versus having to, you know, use an independent timer or like set it up myself or anything like that. So the other thing that I really like about Training Peaks is you can buy individual training programs and then you can attach them to your calendar. You can move your workouts around based on what works well for you. They do have a free version and then they have a paid version. If you buy a program from one of their coaches, you can get 25% off an annual subscription. Which is what I did just to see if I actually use the more premium features. I think it ended up being about $90 US for the year with a training program. And in the training program, you can add cycling programs, triathlon, swimming, running, lots of different levels, lots of different variety of coaches and things like that. So I'm actually really enjoying Training Peaks lately. I like that I can communicate easily with my coach. I like that I can add on other things because I am interested in maybe getting back into swimming again and looking for some, you know, beginner swimmer programs, etc. So those are definitely two subscriptions that I use for running. A few others I know is Run with Hal. I've used that in the past. I don't really feel like it's worth a paid subscription personally. I just don't really use those programs because I find them a little bit too high volume for myself. If you're a trail runner or mountain biker or both, Trailforks is a really good subscription as well. So that will give you the trails around, the degree of difficulty, if there is a way that you're supposed to ride it, different things like that, which is a pretty nominal investment. I don't think it's very much for an annual subscription, but that's something else I subscribe to as far as applications go on my phone. Applications go. I sound like I'm 80. On the iPhone, the Facebook. And that is what I have for you as far as gifts go for the female runner / active person in your life, or if you just want to treat yourself. So those are my suggestions for last minute Valentine gifts for the female runner in your life, or if you are just looking to treat yourself at various different price points. I have some suggestions. Like I said, I'll drop those links in the description below, and I will see you in the next one.